I refused to host Thanksgiving anymore because my family kept using my house as a free hotel where I was the unpaid maid. Today I'm going to tell you how I sold my $300,000 house in under 3 weeks just to escape my own family. And no, I don't regret it. Let me rewind 5 years. I have just bought my first house, a beautiful property in the suburbs, 180 square meters, 3 bedrooms, 2.5 bathrooms, a large kitchen with a center island, a backyard with space for barbecues. Dave, my husband, and I were over the moon. We had saved for 7 years for the down payment, 7 years of eating at home, canceling vacations, driving the same old car, but it was worth it when we got the keys. Mom cried when we showed her the house. Genuine tears, or so I believed at the time. It's perfect, sweetie. Perfect for family gatherings. I should have seen the warning sign in that phrase, but I was so happy, too proud to show her what I had accomplished. The first Thanksgiving in my new house was lovely. Everyone arrived on Thursday morning. Mom brought her famous pumpkin pie. Dad brought wine. My brother Greg showed up with Jennifer and the kids, all smiles and polite. My sister Vanessa came alone, fresh out of another breakup, but in good spirits. We cooked together. Well, Mom and I cooked while everyone else watched the game in the living room, but I didn't mind. It was tradition. It was family. After dinner, everyone helped clean up. Greg dried dishes. Vanessa put away leftovers. Jennifer swept the floor. By 8 in the evening, everyone had gone to their own homes, and Dave and I collapsed on the couch, tired but happy. That went well, Dave said, kissing my forehead. It was perfect, I replied. That was a lie. It was the last time it was perfect. The second year, things began to change subtly. Greg called Sunday before Thursday. Hey, do you mind if we come Wednesday night? Jennifer has to work late Tuesday, and it would be easier to drive at night when the kids are asleep. Sure, no problem. They arrived at 11 at night. The kids, 6-year-old Owen and 4-year-old Lily, were asleep. Greg carried them straight to the guest room. Jennifer left 3 suitcases in the hallway. Sorry for the mess, she whispered. I'll put them away tomorrow. She didn't put them away. The suitcases stayed there until Friday. Wednesday morning, I woke up to the sound of cartoons blaring in the living room. I went downstairs and found Owen and Lily with cereal spilled all over the table, milk spilled on the floor, their toys scattered from the couch to the kitchen. Good morning, Auntie, they said in unison, not looking up from the TV. Good morning, kids. Where are your parents? Sleeping. It was 9 in the morning. I cleaned up the mess, made more coffee, and started organizing ingredients for the next day. Greg and Jennifer appeared around noon. Thanks for watching the kids, Jennifer said, taking a cup of coffee. We needed that rest. She didn't mention cleaning up what the kids had destroyed, nor did she offer to help with the preparations. She just sat on the kitchen island, looking at her phone while I peeled potatoes. Vanessa arrived that afternoon. 2 large suitcases, 1 handbag. You need 2 suitcases for 2 nights? I joked. You never know what you'll want to wear, she replied, dragging them upstairs to the main guest room, the one with the private bathroom. By Thursday morning, my house looked like a disaster zone. Wet towels on Vanessa's bathroom floor, the kids' toys on every flat surface, Greg and Jennifer's dirty breakfast dishes in the sink, and me there like an idiot, roasting an 8-kilogram turkey and preparing side dishes for 12 people. Do you need help? Mom asked when she arrived at 10. Yes, please. Perfect. I'll sit here and keep you company. You know cooking isn't really my thing. That wasn't true. Mom was an excellent cook. She just didn't want to do it. The dinner was delicious. Everyone said so. Incredible. Delicious. The best turkey I've ever had. But when we finished, when everyone got up to go to the living room, no one made a move to clean. Hey, I called out. Can someone help me with the dishes? We're so full, said Greg, patting his stomach. Let us digest for a while. The game is about to start, Dad added. I'll help you, Dave offered, because Dave always helped me. It took us 2.5 hours to clean, 2.5 hours scraping pans, washing dishes, putting away leftovers, cleaning the kitchen that looked like a battlefield. Meanwhile, I heard laughter from the living room, shouts of excitement for the game, the sound of my family enjoying themselves while Dave and I worked. When we finished, it was almost 9 at night. I went into the living room. All done. Everything's clean. You're a champ, said Greg, not taking his eyes off the TV. That night, lying in bed, I told Dave, next year everyone helps clean. Absolutely, he agreed. But it didn't happen. The third year was worse. Greg arrived on Tuesday, 3 days before Thanksgiving. I took the week off work, he explained. I thought we could relax as a family. Relaxing meant Greg settled on my couch with his laptop, working remotely while the kids destroyed my house. Owen scratched the dining room wall with crayons. Lily spilled grape juice on my beige living room carpet. When I asked Greg to supervise his children, he told me, "They're kids. That's what kids are like." Vanessa arrived on Wednesday, this time with 3 suitcases. "I'm staying until Sunday," she announced. "I need a vacation." A vacation at my house where I was still working from home, trying to maintain my job as a graphic designer while my family invaded every space. Vanessa completely took over the main guest bathroom. Her makeup covered the vanity. Her hair products filled the shower. She used all my clean towels and left them on the floor, damp and wrinkled. On Thursday, while I was cooking, I asked her to help me make the mashed potatoes. "I'm on vacation," she replied, refilling her wine glass. "I don't want to think about cooking." "But we're at my house." "Exactly. You're the hostess." I felt something break inside me at that moment. Something small but significant. Dave noticed that night after. Once again, we cleaned up alone while everyone else watched TV. "Are you okay?" "I don't know." I didn't know how to explain that I felt like a housekeeper in my own home, that I felt used, invisible. The 4th year, I decided to set boundaries. When Greg called to ask if he could arrive on Tuesday, I told him, "This year I'm only having guests on Thursday. Everyone must arrive Thursday morning." Silence on the other end of the line. "Are you serious?" "Dead serious. But it's easier for us if—" "Thursday, Greg." I hung up feeling powerful. For about 5 minutes. Mom called an hour later. "Greg told me you don't want him to stay for several days." "That's right." "Sweetie, why are you being so difficult? They have small children. It's complicated for them. And it's my house, Mom. A house that is perfect for family gatherings. Remember?" Ah, there it was. The guilt. The reminder that my house wasn't really mine, but a shared family space. "Thursday," I repeated, but my voice had already lost its conviction. Greg arrived on Wednesday anyway. Jennifer couldn't change her workdays, he explained at the door. "I hope you don't mind." Of course I minded. But what was I going to do? Slam the door in my brother and my nephew's faces? That year on Friday morning, I planned to bring leftover pie to Dave's parents. I got up early, excited about this small gesture. I opened the refrigerator. Empty. The entire pie had disappeared. The leftover turkey, gone. The green bean casserole, clean. Everything I had carefully stored the night before, everything I thought would last at least a few days, devoured. I found Owen in the living room with pie remains on his shirt. "Did you eat the pie, sweetie?" Dad said I could. It was delicious. I looked for Greg. He was in the guest room, still in his pajamas, looking at his phone. "Greg, the kids ate all the pie I was going to take to Dave's in-laws." He looked up briefly. They were hungry. There was cereal, there was fruit, They wanted pie. They're kids. It was for Dave's parents. "You can bake another one." "I don't have time. They're coming this afternoon." Greg shrugged, literally shrugged, and went back to his phone. Something else broke inside me. That afternoon, Vanessa complained because her shower water wasn't hot enough. "You just washed 4 loads of laundry," I told her. "Everyone's laundry. The water heater needs time to recover." "Well, it's not my fault your house has an inadequate water heater." My house. My house with its inadequate water heater that I paid for, that I maintained, that I offered for free to my ungrateful family. That night, after everyone finally left on Sunday, Dave and I sat in the living room in silence. The house smelled of dampness, of stale food, of too many people in one space for too long. "I can't do this again," I whispered. "I know. I mean it. I can't." Dave took my hand. "Then we won't." It seemed so simple when he said it. Then we won't. But family is never simple. In January, Mom started asking about Thanksgiving for the following year. It's so early to plan, I replied. I want to make sure we reserve your house, she said with a laugh, as if my house were an event hall that needed to be booked. In March, Vanessa posted a picture on Facebook from the previous Thanksgiving, everyone smiling around my table. The caption, "Can't wait for November. The best hostess, the best turkey, the best family." 53 likes, including Mom's. In August, Greg texted me, "Jennifer wants to know if it's okay if we come on Tuesday this year. She says we can help with the preparation." It was a lie. They never helped, but that wasn't the reason I said no. "This year I'm not hosting Thanksgiving," I wrote in the family chat. The message just sat there, floating. 3 dots appeared under Mom's name. They disappeared, reappeared. Finally, what? "This year I need a break. I propose we rotate. Vanessa has an apartment. Greg has a house, or we can go to a restaurant." The 3 dots again, then a long message. "Sweetie, your house is the most spacious. Vanessa's apartment is tiny, and Greg's house is under renovation." That was a lie. Greg's house was not under renovation. "Besides, you cook so well, it would be a shame if we ate restaurant food on Thanksgiving." "You can cook at my house then," I wrote. Silence. Finally, "Vanessa, if you're that exhausted we can bring more things, but it would be weird not to be at your house." "It would be weird," Greg repeated. As if I were the weird one for not wanting to enslave myself for the 5th year in a row. "I need a year off," I insisted. "A year off from your family?" Mom wrote, and I could feel the venom dripping from those words even through the screen. I didn't respond anymore. I thought that was enough, that I had clearly set my boundary. How naive I was. In September, Mom started calling me twice a week. "Have you reconsidered?" "No, Mom. But everyone is so disappointed. They can be disappointed. I don't understand why you're so selfish." Selfish. That word again. As if 5 years of cooking, cleaning, hosting, and smiling while being ignored weren't enough to earn me the right to say no once. In October, Vanessa started with passive-aggressive messages. Some people value their own comfort more than family traditions. It's sad when someone forgets what really matters during the holidays. Family first, or so I believed it. Each message was a little stab, small but effective. Then my cousin Andrea called me. "Hey, I need to warn you about something." "What is it?" "They created a group chat without you and without Dave. They're planning to show up at your house for Thanksgiving anyway." I felt all the air leave my lungs. "What?" "I'm so sorry. I thought you should know. Vanessa said you're just throwing a tantrum. Greg said you're too nice to really say no, and your mom said she knows you better than anyone, and that by Thursday everything will be back to normal." I hung up the phone. My hands were shaking. Dave came into the kitchen. "What happened?" I told him everything. I expected him to tell me to ignore it, that it wasn't worth the drama, but instead he asked, "What do you want to do?" I looked at him. Dave had that calm expression he got when he knew I had already made a decision, but was afraid to verbalize it. "I want to sell this house." The words came out before I could stop them. "I want to sell this damn house and move somewhere they can't find us." I expected him to tell me I was overreacting, that selling a $300,000 house over family problems was crazy. "Let's do it," he said simply. "Are you serious?" "Completely serious. This house has 3 bedrooms we only use twice a year when your family invades. We pay high property taxes for space that's basically a free hotel, and you've been miserable here every damn Thanksgiving for 5 years. But, besides," he interrupted, "you always wanted to live closer to downtown, close to your work, to restaurants, to life. This was my dream house, not yours." He was right. This house had been a compromise. Dave wanted space, a yard, suburban quiet. I wanted an apartment building, a terrace with city views, and being able to walk to coffee shops. It took me 3 days to decide completely. 3 days remembering every past Thanksgiving, every dish I washed alone, every time someone complained about something I had given them for free, every moment I felt invisible in my own home. On the 4th day, I called a real estate agent. "How fast can it sell?" I asked. "It depends on the price, the condition, the location. Why the hurry?" "I need to sell it before Thanksgiving." Pause on the other end. That's in 3 weeks. I know. The agent, an efficient woman named Patricia in her 50s, came the next day. She toured the house, took notes, photographed every room. In the living room, she pointed to the crayon marks on the wall that Owen had made. It needs paint. How long does it take? If we hire professionals, 2 days. Hire them, today. Patricia looked at me directly. You really need to sell fast. Yes. She didn't ask why. Something in my voice told her it wasn't the time for questions. The painters arrived on Monday. By Wednesday, the house looked better than it had in years. Patricia took professional photos and posted the listing that night. The market is active right now, she said. Hopefully offers this weekend. Meanwhile, Dave and I looked for apartments. We wanted something compact, manageable, ours, not a family home, not a gathering space, just ours. We found the perfect place on Saturday, a 2-bedroom apartment in a modern building near downtown. Open kitchen with luxury finishes, hardwood floors, floor-to-ceiling windows with city views, and most importantly, no guest room. I noticed it immediately. Only 2 bedrooms, I said. Dave smiled. Exactly. On Sunday we received 3 offers at the house. One was $5,000 over the asking price. We accept, I said immediately. Closing can be in 2 weeks, said Patricia. Right after Thanksgiving. Perfect. I didn't tell my family anything. I ignored Mom's messages asking if I had reconsidered. I didn't respond when Vanessa sent a picture of her shopping list, assuming I would cook anyway. Greg didn't even ask. He just texted me. We arrived Tuesday. Tuesday morning, Mom called. We're on our way. We'll be there in 4 hours. Don't come. Don't start with this again. Mom, I sold the house. Silence. The silence so deep I thought the call had dropped. What? I sold the house. It closes next week. Dave and I are moving to an apartment. You're lying. I'm not lying. If you come, you'll find the new owners preparing to move in. You sold your house to avoid us? I sold my house because I needed a change. And yes, the fact that you planned to invade my space after I clearly said no influenced my decision. I heard Dad ask something in the background. Mom explained to him in a shrill voice. This is ridiculous. Where are we going to celebrate Thanksgiving? I don't know, Mom. Maybe at Vanessa's house, or Greg's, or at a restaurant, but definitely not at my house, because I don't have one anymore. You're selfish. A selfish person who is destroying this family. Goodbye, Mom. I hung up before she could respond. My hands were trembling, but I felt strangely relieved, as if I had been holding my breath for 5 years and could finally exhale. Dave came out of the bedroom. Did you tell them? I told them. And? Mom says I'm selfish. Are you surprised? No. My phone started ringing immediately. First Mom, then Vanessa, then Greg. I ignored all the calls. Dave made coffee and we sat in the living room, surrounded by the boxes we had already started packing. Do you regret it? He asked. I thought about it honestly. No. An hour later, Vanessa called from Mom's phone. I answered without thinking. How could you do this to us? Hello, Vanessa. Mom is crying. Dad had to stop at a rest area because he's too upset to drive. I warned you weeks ago that I didn't want to do Thanksgiving this year. We thought you'd reconsider. That's exactly the problem. You assumed your plan mattered more than my decision. Of course it matters more. We're your family. And I'm a person with boundaries you never respected. Greg took the phone. Do you know how much money we lost on this trip? Not my problem. The kids are devastated. We promised them Thanksgiving at Auntie's house. They can learn a valuable lesson from this, that there are consequences when you don't respect people. You're a bitch. The word stung, but I kept my voice firm. And you're someone who never washed a dish in 5 years. Goodbye, Greg. This time I turned off my phone completely. The Packers arrived on Wednesday. By Thursday afternoon, our life was in boxes inside a moving truck. I stood in the empty living room looking at the marks on the floor where the sofa had been for 5 years. Ready? Asked Dave. Yes. I closed the door for the last time and gave the keys to Patricia. The new owners, a young couple with a baby on the way, would move in on Monday. Our new apartment was on the 16th floor of a building with 24-hour security. You had to check in at the reception desk to go up. No one could just show up unannounced. That night we slept on mattresses on the floor because the furniture would arrive on Friday. I didn't mind. For the first time in weeks, I slept without dreaming of burning turkeys and dirty dishes. Friday morning, waiting for the movers, I turned on my phone. I had 68 unread messages. Mom, I can't believe you did this. Vanessa, everyone is asking what happened. You made me look ridiculous. Greg, I hope you're happy. The kids spent Thanksgiving crying. Aunt Lucia, your mom told me what you did. What a disappointment. Cousin Andrea, you sold your house? Are you okay? I only responded to Andrea. I'm better than ever. I just needed a change. The furniture arrived at noon. By 4 in the afternoon, the apartment was almost completely set up. Dave was hanging pictures while I organized the kitchen. It was smaller than the previous one, but more modern. Everything new. Everything is clean. Everything ours. What do you want for dinner? Asked Dave. Let's go out. To that Thai restaurant you love. You don't want to cook? I haven't cooked in 2 days and I feel incredible. We went out to dinner. The restaurant was full of families celebrating the day after Thanksgiving. No one knew us. No one demanded anything from us. It was perfect. When we returned to the apartment, I found more messages from numbers I didn't recognize. Relatives who never contacted me except during the holidays. All feigning concern, all wanting my version of the story so they could judge me. I blocked them all, except Andrea, who had been sincere. On Saturday, Dave and I bought things for the apartment. New curtains, kitchen utensils, towels, things my family had ruined or taken without permission over the years. At the home decor store, a woman stopped me. Elena? It was Carla, a former coworker I hadn't seen since I left that job 2 years ago. Carla? Hello? You look different. More relaxed. I just moved. Where to? I gave her the general area without specifying the building. That's an expensive area. You're doing well. We're doing well. Dave joined the conversation. Carla looked at us curiously. Did you celebrate Thanksgiving? We went to a restaurant, I replied. What a good idea. I cooked all day for my husband's family. I was exhausted. I looked at her and saw a reflection of who I was. Tired, tense, undervalued. Try a restaurant next year, I suggested. Oh, I couldn't. The family would expect me to cook. Family adapts. Carla laughed nervously and changed the subject. We left 10 minutes later. That was you a year ago, Dave observed as we loaded the purchases into the car. I know. Do you think she'll get tired? Maybe. The question is how long it will take her to realize she deserves more. On Sunday, I received a call from Mom. This time I answered. We need to talk. I'm listening. In person. No, Mom. Please, Elena. I came all this way. I'm at your old house. I sat up straight. What? I came to your house. There's a young couple here. They say they bought it last week. Is it true? Yes. Where do you live now? In an apartment. Where? I'm not going to tell you. I'm your mother. I have a right to know where you live. No, you don't. Not after planning to invade my house when I clearly said no. I heard her breathing rapidly on the phone. The couple let me in. I saw the empty rooms. I saw what you did. How could you get rid of everything? That house was perfect for family gatherings. That's exactly why I sold it. You're so selfish. We always knew you were the strong one, Mom continued. The one who could handle everything. That's why we relied on you. You didn't rely on me. You exploited me. We love you. Love isn't using someone until they break, Mom. Love is respect when someone says enough. We're all tired, Elena, but family supports each other. I supported for 5 years. You never supported me, not once. Mom was silent for a moment. Then she said something shocking. We thought the house would be yours forever. That when you moved to something bigger, you'd sell it to us at a discount, or give it to Greg for his kids. There it was. The truth. How long have you been planning that for? Since you bought it. It's spacious. Greg needs space. And Vanessa said it would be perfect for when she has children. Vanessa doesn't have children. But she will. And they'll need a place. I laughed. I couldn't help it. All this time I thought they were just using me during the holidays. but they were planning to take over my house permanently. Goodbye, Mom. Wait, when can we visit your new place? Never. You don't mean that. I do mean it. You'll know my address when I decide to share it, if I ever decide to. I hung up and blocked her number. Dave came out of the bedroom. You heard. I heard they wanted the house. Apparently that was the plan the whole time. Dave shook his head. At least now you know you made the right decision. Yes, at least now I know. That night, Dave and I ate on the apartment balcony. From the 16th floor we could see the city lights blinking in the distance. It was cold, but I didn't care. Happy? Asked Dave. Happier than I've been in years. No regrets? None. And it was true. For the first time in a long time, I felt free. 2 weeks passed before I unblocked my family's numbers. Not because I missed them, but to see if they had calmed down. I had 120 unread messages. The first days were insults. Mom called me ungrateful. Greg said I was terrible. Vanessa wrote 3 paragraphs about how I had ruined her reputation with distant relatives. Then came the threats. Don't count on us when you need help. You're going to regret this. Family is forever, but you lost yours. Then, manipulation. Mom can't sleep thinking about you. The kids ask about you. Dad says he doesn't feel like a family anymore. The last messages from 3 days ago were different. Brief. Desperate. Greg, can we talk? Vanessa, I need a favor. Mom, call me when you can. I didn't respond to any of them. Dave and I organized Thanksgiving with his parents, Linda and Robert. They lived 2 hours away and had always been kind to me. They never judged, never pressured, just enjoyed the company. Are you sure about having us over? Linda asked on the phone. Completely sure. I want you to see our new apartment. And your family? My family isn't coming. Linda didn't ask more. That was something I really appreciated about her. She respected personal space. The Wednesday before Thanksgiving we made a reservation at a fancy downtown restaurant, the kind of place where you need to book 3 weeks in advance. Table for 4 under Martinez, I said when we arrived. The place was decorated with pumpkins and candles, soft music in the background, spotless white tablecloths, and shiny silverware. Linda hugged me when she saw me. You look splendid. I feel splendid. Robert and Dave ordered wine. Linda and I chose cocktails. When the dishes arrived, I couldn't help but compare. The turkey was perfectly cooked, juicy, well-seasoned. The sides came hot and beautifully presented. No one complained. No one criticized. We just ate and talked. This is much better than cooking at home, I confessed. How many years did you do it? Linda asked. 5, and no one ever offered to help. Linda exchanged a look with Robert. They didn't comment on my family, but it wasn't necessary. Their silence said it all. After dinner, we walked around downtown. The shop windows were decorated for Christmas. Lights twinkled in the trees. It was cold but pleasant. We should take a picture, Dave suggested. We asked a tourist to take a picture of the 4 of us. We all smiled genuinely. When Dave showed me the image, I was surprised. I looked happy, truly happy. That night I posted the picture to my almost inactive Instagram. I just wrote, the best Thanksgiving so far. I didn't mention my family. I didn't throw shade. I just shared a real moment of happiness. Comments came quickly. Vanessa wrote, how nice that you're enjoying yourself while Mom suffers because of you. Cousin Andrea liked it and commented, you all look beautiful. Several friends unrelated to the conflict left kind messages. Some asked about the restaurant. I deleted Vanessa's comment and blocked her on all my social media. Friday morning, while having coffee with Dave on the balcony, I got a message from Andrea. I need to tell you something. What happened? I went to your mom's house yesterday. I wanted to bring her a piece of leftover pie. I found them arguing about money. Apparently Greg borrowed money from your mom months ago and never paid her back. Vanessa also owes her money. Your mom was screaming that everyone always asks but never gives back. I sat still, processing the information. There's more, Andrea continued. I heard your mom mention that they were counting on you to help them financially after inheriting the house. I wasn't going to inherit the house. It was my house. They thought you'd sell it to them at a discount or give it to them. Mom already told me that. Oh. And another thing. Greg and Jennifer are in crisis. She found messages on his phone. I don't know who, but it seems serious. And Vanessa was fired 2 weeks ago. That's why she was at your mom's house, in the middle of the afternoon. All this information should have given me satisfaction, should have given me some sense of justice, but I just felt empty. Thanks for telling me. Are you going to contact them? No, Andrea. I know they hurt you, but they're your family. Family doesn't treat people the way they treated me. Andrea sighed. You're right. I just thought you'd want to know. After hanging up, I told Dave everything. How do you feel? He asked. I don't know. Part of me wants to feel vindicated, but mostly I feel pity for them. That makes you a better person than them. I'm not a better person. I'm just tired. On Saturday, we decided to go shopping. We needed Christmas decorations for the apartment. At the store, we ran into Jennifer, Greg's wife. She saw me first. Her expression showed surprise, then discomfort. Elena. Jennifer. I didn't know you lived around here. We moved a few weeks ago. Jennifer looked at Dave, then at me. Greg told me about the house. His version, I'm sure. Yes. She paused. Can I talk to you for a moment? Alone. Dave squeezed my hand gently before walking away to look at Christmas lights. Jennifer and I moved to a quieter corner of the store. I need to apologize, she began, for the years of invading your house, for letting the kids ruin your things, for never helping to clean. I wasn't expecting this. Why are you apologizing now? Because Greg and I are in marriage counseling. The therapist had us list all the times we overstepped other people's boundaries. Your name came up several times. I see. Greg won't admit it, but he knows we used you. We all know. It was easier to let you carry everything than to take on our own responsibilities. Why are you telling me this? Because you deserve a real apology, and because I want you to know that not all of your family ignores what they did. Does Greg feel it too? Jennifer looked down. Greg is processing a lot right now. But yes, deep down I think he feels it. Thank you for telling me. Is there any way to fix it? I don't know, Jennifer. Honestly, I don't know. We said goodbye awkwardly. Dave found me looking at a set of Christmas plates. Everything okay? Jennifer apologized. Really? Yes. And how do you feel? Confused. We bought the decorations and returned to the apartment. That night, as we put lights on the small tree we had bought, I thought about Jennifer's apology. It was easy to stay angry when everyone acted like villains, but a sincere apology complicated everything. Do you think I should forgive them? I asked Dave. I think you should do whatever gives you peace. That doesn't answer my question. Because there's no right answer. You can forgive and keep your distance. You cannot forgive and move on. You can wait and decide later. What would you do? I'd wait, see if the changes are real or temporary. He was right. It was too soon to know if anything had really changed. For now, this was okay. 2 weeks before Christmas, Mom had a heart attack. Andrea called me at 3 a.m. Elena, you need to come to the hospital. It's Mom. I got dressed in 5 minutes. Dave drove while I tried to process what was happening. It had been a month since I spoke to my mother. A month where I kept my distance and built my new life. And now she was in the hospital. Arriving at the waiting room, I saw Greg with his head in his hands. Vanessa sitting staring at the wall. Jennifer had Greg's children asleep in her lap. Where's Dad? I asked. With her, Greg replied without looking at me. The doctors only allow one at a time. I sat away from them. Dave sat next to me, his hand finding mine. 20 minutes passed before a doctor appeared. Family of Beatriz Morales. We all stood up. She's stable. It was a minor heart attack. She was lucky her husband called so quickly. The doctor paused. But she needs drastic lifestyle changes. Less stress, better diet, more rest. Can we see her? Vanessa asked. One at a time. She's very tired. Dad came out of the room. He looked 10 years older. She's asking for you, he told me. She wants you to go in first. Greg stood up. I should go in first. I'm her son. She asked to see Elena, Dad repeated firmly. I entered the room. Mom was hooked on several machines. Her face looked gray, her eyes closed. Hearing the door, she opened them slowly. Elena. Hi, Mom. I thought you wouldn't come. Andrea called. Mom tried to smile, but it came out as a grimace. The doctor says less stress, she continued. How ironic. I spent the last month stressed about you. Mom? Let me finish. She took a deep breath. Greg and Vanessa came to ask me for money again last week. I said no. They got angry. They said if you still have the house, they could ask you for money against its value. I sat in the chair next to the bed. That's when I understood clearly, Mom said. We raise children who see family as a well to draw from without giving. Not just them, Mom. You are too. I know. Her eyes were moistened. I know, and I'm sorry. I thought that because you were the strong one, the one who could handle everything, you didn't need to be taken care of. But everyone needs to be taken care of. Why are you telling me this now? Because I almost died tonight, and all I could think was that my daughter wouldn't come to my funeral because of how much I hurt her. Mom, would you come to my funeral? The question hit me like a punch. I don't know. Mom nodded slowly. That's an honest answer. More than I deserve. The doctor says you'll be okay this time, but you need to make a lot of changes. Starting with how I treat my family. She closed her eyes. We can talk more when I get out of the hospital, if you want. Maybe. I understand. I left the room. Greg went in immediately. Vanessa was waiting for me in the hallway. What did you say to her? She accused. You came out and now she's worse. I didn't say anything bad. You always do this. You always do everything about you. Dave stepped between us. That's enough, Vanessa. Who do you think you are? I'm her husband and I'm not going to let you mistreat her like that. Jennifer also stood up. Vanessa, stop. Now everyone is on her side. There are no sides, Jennifer replied calmly. Just a family that needs to learn to respect each other better. Vanessa looked at me with pure rage. All of this is your fault. Mom is here because of you. My fault? The words came out colder than I intended. Because I refused to be the family's free hotel? Because I sold my own house? Because you pressured her so much that her heart gave out. That's enough, Dad said from behind. Vanessa turned. Dad. That's enough, he ordered. Your mom didn't have a heart attack because of Elena. She had it because of years of worrying about you two, about your debts, your problems, your lack of maturity as adults. Vanessa opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Elena was the only one who didn't ask for anything, Dad continued. The only one who gave without expecting anything in return, and you punished her for finally setting boundaries. But the house, Greg started, coming out of Mom's room. The house was hers to do with as she pleased, Dad interrupted. It wasn't your early inheritance, Greg. It wasn't anyone's retirement fund. It was her house, and she decided to sell it. End of story. So what? Vanessa asked. We apologize and everything is fixed? You need to grow up, Dad replied. Learn that actions have consequences, that you can't treat people like trash and expect them to stay. Silence filled the hallway. I'll take the children home, Jennifer said softly. Greg, let me know when you're ready. She and the children left. Vanessa sat alone in a corner. Greg went back to be with Mom. Dad sat down next to me. I should have spoken up a long time ago, he whispered. Watching you treated like that, and staying silent, makes me as guilty as them. Why didn't you? Because your mom always said family supports each other, and you seemed capable of handling everything, but no one should carry everything alone. Do you think there's a way to fix this? I thought about the question, about Mom in that hospital bed, about Greg and Vanessa full of resentment, about Dad finally speaking the truth. I don't know, Dad, but I'm not going to be the one to fix it. You all must decide if you really want to change. And if you do, maybe we'll talk, but it will take time. Dad nodded. Time is what I can give. Dave and I left an hour later. In the car, I felt completely drained. What are you going to do? Dave asked. Wait, see if they really change or if this is just temporary fear because of the heart attack. And if they don't change, I'll move on without them. Could you do that? I'm already doing it. Dave took my hand. Whatever happens, I'm with you. I know. And at that moment, that was enough. Mom was discharged from the hospital 3 days later. Dad texted me, she's resting at home. I didn't ask if I could visit her. I didn't offer help. I just replied, glad she's better. I kept my distance. For now, that was the most I could offer. 2 months passed without direct contact with my family, only occasional messages from Dad about Mom's health. She's going to therapy. The doctor says her heart is improving. She asks about you. I never responded with more than a thanks for the update. In mid-January, Jennifer called me. Can I invite you for coffee? For what? Just coffee. No drama, I promise. I hesitated. Okay. We met at a coffee shop near my apartment. Jennifer arrived with deep dark circles and disheveled clothes. Greg and I are separating, she said before I could ask. I'm sorry. Don't be. It was necessary. She stirred her coffee. I found messages from a coworker. They had been seeing each other for months. Jennifer. When I confronted him, he blamed me, said I was always with the kids, that I didn't give him attention, as if that justified the infidelity. It doesn't justify it. I know, but the funny thing is, what happened next? She leaned forward. I asked for a divorce. He said fine, that I would get nothing, that he would keep the house because he pays for it. And? Turns out Greg has $30,000 in credit card debt that I didn't know about, debt for gifts for that woman. Now he's desperate because the divorce splits everything, including the debt. I didn't know what to say. That's why I contacted you. But also to tell you something else. She took out her phone and showed me messages. Greg texted your mom asking her to convince you to lend him $50,000. I read the texts. Greg explained that he needed a lawyer, that if I lent him the money it would save his marriage and pay off his debts, that we were family and family helps each other. Mom's response surprised me. I'm not going to ask Alina for anything. We've already caused her enough harm. Mom said that. Yes. Greg was furious. He said then he would take out a loan using your house as collateral, that it was still part of the family estate. What? I told him he was crazy, that you sold the house months ago. He went crazy, said you ruined his life by selling it. I put the phone down on the table. Greg ruined his own life. I know, but he doesn't accept it. For him, it's always someone else's fault. Jennifer sighed. I wanted to warn you. He's desperate, and desperate people do crazy things. Thanks for letting me know. I also wanted to apologize again. Really, I spent years letting my kids break your things. Years expecting you to cook and clean while I rested. I used you as much as Greg did. You already apologized at the store. That was superficial. This one is real. I'm in therapy now, analyzing my role in all of this, and I see how badly I treated you. Why are you telling me this? Because when you lose a marriage, you value relationships worth saving. You were always kind to me. Always. Even when I didn't deserve it. I didn't know what to say. I don't expect forgiveness, Jennifer continued. I just wanted you to know that at least some of us recognize our mistakes. We said goodbye half an hour later. As I walked back to the apartment, I processed what Jennifer had said. Greg was getting worse, not better. But Mom had changed her response. That night I told Dave everything. Do you think Mom really changed? I don't know. 2 months isn't enough to know. Will you contact her? Not yet. A week later, Vanessa showed up at my work. The receptionist alerted me. There's a woman who says she's your sister. I went down. Vanessa was waiting for me with 2 coffees. I need to talk to you. I'm working. Please. Just 10 minutes. I took her to an empty conference room. I lost my apartment, she said bluntly. I can't pay the rent. Dad and Mom don't have space. Greg is in his own chaos. I need a temporary place. No, just 2 months, until I find a job. Don't even consider it. The answer is no. But, there are no buts. It's no. Just 2 months until I find a job. Vanessa, you had a job. You lost it because you were constantly late. It was once? Andrea told me you were fired for being absent for 3 weeks without notice. Vanessa pressed her lips together. I was going through a rough time. I'm sorry, but it's not my responsibility. I'm your sister. A sister who posted on Facebook that I was destroying the family, who blamed me for Mom's heart attack, who planned to invade my house after I clearly said no. I already apologized for that. No, you didn't. You never apologized. You just said I was overreacting. Vanessa fell silent. You know what's the worst part? I continued. If you had come 2 months ago with a sincere apology without asking for anything, maybe I would have considered helping you, but you only come when you need something, as always. So you're abandoning me? I'm not abandoning you. You got yourself into this with your own choices. Mom was right about you, Vanessa spat. You're cold and selfish. Mom said that? She said it before the heart attack. She said you had become hard. How interesting. Because Mom just refused to give Greg money, telling him they had already caused us enough harm. Vanessa blinked, surprised. When? 2 weeks ago. So either Mom changed her mind or you're lying. She stood up abruptly. I knew coming was a mistake. Then why did you come? Because I thought maybe you still had some compassion. But I see you sold that along with the house. She left, slamming the door. My boss Carmen came in a minute later. Everything okay? Yes. That woman seemed furious. It's my sister. She's going through a tough time. Carmen looked at me thoughtfully. Do you want the rest of the day off? No. I'd rather work. That night, Dad called me. Vanessa told me what happened. Ah. She said you were harsh with her. I told her she couldn't stay at my apartment. That's not being harsh. It's setting a boundary. Dad paused. But I need to ask you something. Is there any way to fix this? Or is it already too late? Dad, Greg has $30,000 in debt from an extramarital affair. Vanessa lost her job and her apartment from being irresponsible. And until 2 months ago, everyone blamed me for their problems. I know. How do you expect me to trust that anything changed? I don't expect you to trust. I hope you'll give us the opportunity to prove we can do better. And how would you do that? Family therapy, the 4 of us. Without asking for anything, just to talk. I thought about it. Your mom agrees. It was her idea. And I warned Greg and Vanessa that if they don't go, they can't count on us for anything anymore. You really told them that? Really. It's time for them to grow up. Let me think about it. Take your time. But Elena, I want you to know something. What? I'm proud of you. For setting boundaries. For valuing yourself. I should have taught you that when you were a girl. I hung up with tears in my eyes. Dave hugged me from behind. Are you going to go to therapy? I think so. Why? Because Dad is right. They deserve the chance to show they can change, and I deserve to know if they really do. And if they don't change, at least I'll know I tried. The first family therapy session was a disaster. Greg arrived 20 minutes late. Vanessa kept checking her phone. Mom sighed every time the therapist asked a question. Dad looked at the floor. And I wondered why I had agreed to come. The therapist, a woman in her 50s named Dr. Ramirez, didn't waste time. Each of you is going to say why you're here. No interruptions, no excuses, just honesty. Mom spoke first. I'm here because I almost died and realized I created a dysfunctional family. I taught my children to take without giving, and I lost my daughter in the process. Greg went next. I'm here because my dad made me. Honesty, Greg, the doctor interjected. Greg sighed. I'm here because I ruined my life, and it's easier to blame others than to admit my mistakes. Vanessa looked at him in surprise. Then she spoke. I'm here because I lost everything. My job, my apartment, my dignity, and when I asked for help, my sister rejected me, and she was right to do so. It was my turn. I'm here because I don't know if this can be fixed, but I want to know if it's worth trying. Dad spoke last. I'm here because I failed as a father. I allowed my family to become this, and I need to help them change. The following sessions were just as difficult. Greg admitted he used my house as a backup for his bad decisions. Vanessa acknowledged she envied me for having my life together. Mom confessed she saw me as her better version and expected me to take care of everyone like she never could. And you, Elena? Dr. Ramirez asked, in the 4th session. What do you need from your family? I need you to see me as a person, not as a resource. I need you to respect my boundaries, and I need to know I can say no without being punished for it. Can you give her that? The doctor looked at my family. They all nodded. Words, the doctor insisted. Words matter. Yes, Mom said. Me too, Dad added. Greg hesitated. I'm learning. Vanessa nodded. Yes. After 2 months of therapy, Mom invited me for coffee. Just us. We met at a neutral place, away from the usual spots. I want to show you something, she said, taking out a notebook. My therapist had me write down all the times I used you or hurt you. She opened the notebook. There were pages filled with text. I don't need to read all that, I said softly. I needed to write it, to see it all together, to see the pattern. She closed the notebook. Do you know when I realized I had a problem? When? When Greg asked me to convince you to lend him money, my first instinct was to call you. Then I stopped and thought, why do I assume Elena is going to fix this? Why is her money available to us? But ours isn't to her. And what did you conclude? That we turned you into our savior. Every time there was a problem, you fixed it. Every time we needed something, you provided it. And we never asked what you needed. No. Can you forgive me? The question hung between us. I still don't know, Mom, but I can try to build something new with you. New? We can't go back to what we were before. That was broken. But maybe we can create something better. Mom cried. This time they weren't manipulative tears. They were real. 3 months later, Greg finalized his divorce. He lost the house. He lost shared custody of the children because of his infidelity. He moved to a modest apartment and got a second job to pay off his debts. One Saturday he called me. Can I take you to lunch? I accepted cautiously. Greg arrived on time. He looked tired, but more present than before. Thanks for coming. What do you need? Nothing. I just wanted to see you. He paused. Jennifer told me you met, that you warned her about me years ago and she didn't listen. I didn't warn her. I just told her she deserved better. You were right. Greg fidgeted with his napkin. I lost my wife, my house. I almost lost my kids, all because I didn't take responsibility for my actions. And now? Now I will try. I have 2 jobs. I am going to therapy. I pay my debts. And on weekends with my kids, I'm really present. No phone, no distractions. I'm glad to hear it. Elena, I know I can't undo what I did, how I treated you, how I used your house, but I want you to know I'm truly sorry. Thank you. Do you think we can have some kind of relationship? Maybe, with time. But on my terms. I understand. Vanessa took longer. She found a job at a call center. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid the bills. She moved in with 2 roommates and learned to manage her money. 6 months later she texted me, I saw your expensive shampoo at the store. It cost $40. I used 3 bottles in one weekend when I stayed at your house. I'm sorry. I appreciate the apology, I replied. Months passed before we saw each other face to face. When we finally did, it was different. Calmer, more honest. The next Thanksgiving, Dave and I celebrated it in our apartment. We invited only Mom and Dad. They arrived with wine and flowers. Mom asked how she could help. Dad washed the dishes without being asked. Where are Greg and Vanessa? Mom asked during dinner. Greg with his kids, Vanessa with her roommates. Why didn't you invite them? Because I'm still not ready, and you respect that. Mom nodded. You're right. After dinner, while having coffee on the balcony, Mom asked, Do you think we'll ever be a normal family? I don't know what normal is, but I think we can be healthy if everyone keeps working on it. And Greg and Vanessa? When they show consistent changes, we'll discuss it. A year later, I hosted another Thanksgiving. This time I invited Greg and Vanessa. Greg arrived on time with his children. Vanessa brought side dishes she prepared herself. Mom and Dad helped set the table. When we sat down to eat, I looked around the table. It wasn't perfect. Greg still had moments of selfishness. Vanessa sometimes slipped into old habits. Mom occasionally forgot the boundaries. But everyone was trying. Can we make a toast? Dad proposed. We raised our glasses. To Elena, said Dad, for teaching us that love without respect isn't love, and for giving us the opportunity to be better. To Elena, everyone repeated. After dinner, Greg and Vanessa washed the dishes together. Mom played with the kids in the living room. Dave and Dad talked about soccer on the balcony. Jennifer came to pick up the kids. She had become my friend in recent months. How do you feel? She asked. Good. Really good. Is it worth it? I looked at my family. Imperfect, complicated, but trying. Yes, I replied. It's worth it. Not because everything was resolved, not because I had completely forgiven myself, but because I finally had what I always wanted. A family that respects me. I sold a $300,000 house, but I gained something much more valuable. I gained my dignity, my boundaries, my peace. And that peace, that ability to sleep at night without resentment, eating away at me, that freedom to say no without guilt, that was the best investment I could have made. Dave found me in the kitchen minutes later. Happy? Yes. No regrets? None. He kissed me tenderly. I love you. I love you too. Outside I heard my family's laughter. It wasn't the same as before. It was better, because now it was based on respect, not obligation. And for the first time in years, I felt completely at home. Not in a 3-bedroom house in the suburbs, but in myself. And that, I discovered, was the only home I really needed.